Hi, I'm Marla Esser-Close, the Green Home Coach, and we're here today on the Green Gap podcast with Mina Fies of Renovation Roadmap and Synergy. What's the rest of the company name? Oh my gosh, I've forgotten already.
Design and construction.
Thank you, which is awesome in and of itself. And we're just super excited today to be here and talking about what you're doing. And I know Renovation Roadmap was something that we kind of connected over. But tell us a little bit more about yourself and who you are and what you're up to.
All right. I own a design build firm right outside of Washington, D.C. called Synergy Design and Construction, where I oversee the design process. And we really focus on multi-room renovations and working with homeowners from design through construction, hence the word synergy. But a couple of years ago, the renovation roadmap came to me as an idea because I realized, we're in one location. We only do 20 projects a year. How could I help more people? So we actually created the renovation roadmap with a goal of really providing homeowners the tools and resources that they need to really be a partner with their contractor versus being afraid of working with them. Really understanding kind of the insider's view when you're going through a remodel, what to expect, and all the good checklists and sample contracts and all that fun stuff.
So I had a chance to look through it. You were kind enough to send me some early stuff on it. And what I loved about it is it was a chance for the homeowner to feel like they were a part of the team and that they had like their own plan and a way to go into this. And I think so many of us, when we start even a little remodeling project, we just don't realize all the moving pieces.
Exactly. And, I think a lot of times people just feel overwhelmed by the process and they wait really long time before they'll even start engaging. Uh,
Typical.
yeah, exactly. Engaging with contractors because they're just afraid of, am I going to be taken advantage of? How do I protect myself? And essentially, a lot of times I look at the industry and think, I think a homeowner chooses a contractor, then they kind of squint their eyes and cross their fingers. And say, oh, I hope it comes out okay. And that's no way to go into a 3 or 4 month project with a contractor. So I really wanted to empower homeowners and very proud of the renovation roadmap and what it provides.
Oh, that must be why we got along so great. Empower.
Yes, empowerment. All
Love that
about that.
word. We had a whole series of podcasts we were doing, and everybody that we brought on the show kept it was empower, dream, all these great words that are associated with our homes because there's so much wrapped up in our homes. And I think sometimes we forget that they're more than just this place that protects us from the elements and holds all of our stuff, that it's actually a place that has a lot of emotion wrapped up in it, a lot of memories, and a lot of work.
Yes.
Probably a lot more than we think we're going to have when we sign up for that process. So I think what you bring to homeowners is such a gift because of that empowerment, and I really celebrate you for doing that. So thank you.
Well, thank you. I feel you are right. We are kindred souls because I really do believe our home is our sanctuary, and it's where
Mhm.
we can either recharge or we can walk in the door every day and hate that there's shoes and book packs and all that stuff laying around, or we can actually address it and create a space that really supports and enlivens us. So yeah, we definitely think along the same lines with that.
It's just, yeah, the magic of a home is so much more broad than I think most people give thought to. And
Mhm.
I kind of have, I've had some conversations going with realtors lately that, hey, there's a lot more to a home than 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and 1,900 square feet. And is it
Right.
a corner or not? And, how does your home feel? And what kind of mood do you want to have when you're in your home? And half the time people look at me and go, huh? And then the
Right.
other time they look at me and go, exactly. But
Yeah,
we
it's
don't talk about it much.
we don't, and really, all spaces have a particular energy to it. We all know there's a particular energy when we walk into the DMV.
Oh,
you
that's a
know,
really good point.
right? You walk in there and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I know what that feels like." Well, our homes have that same feeling. It's very different from walking into a family member's house or somebody that you really love, or and hopefully a home that you love that you to come home to every day. So yeah, there are some people that kind of have that light bulb moment, that say, "Wow, I never really thought about that." But you're right. I just it is going beyond pretty countertops and new flooring and really taking a
Yeah.
look at the energy of your space and how it's going to support you and your family, for sure.
Well, and how, yeah, as I become older, which I hope to keep doing for a long time, I don't want to spend so much time in my home. And I want my home to be beautiful, but I want it to perform well without a lot of effort on my part. And I talk to so many people that share that. And it's millennials through baby boomers. We just have different reasons for why this is important to us, right? But this whole idea of, hey, I don't need to dedicate my life to my home is really taken hold. Well, what that means is, how do you think deliberately and intentionally about the things you do in your home? And if you're upgrading something or changing something, how can you make it easier, more durable, less hassle, less maintenance? Which for me, a lot of those things are green and sustainable, which is even better because that's a double whammy, right? We're getting it better, and we're getting it better.
Right, exactly.
On the medium better. But I'm just amazed at how many people are just really scared of that conversation.
Yes.
And I think what you've brought to the table helps people to get in that conversation in a way that's not scary.
Yeah, it's almost like taking the blinders off and saying, okay, you know what, there is an impact, and I'm going to do what it takes to shift my space and the energy of my space, and so that I don't, like you said, have to spend a ton of time. Like, there's small, easy steps that you can take. You don't have to do this massive remodel to make a big change in your home. So yeah, it's definitely a journey, and it's just helping people get that fear away so that they feel like they can move forward, even if it's a small step at a time.
So I have to laugh because you and I are recording this on Zoom, so we can see each other while we're recording. And I can see behind you on your words of your, I'm guessing these are some of your favorite words, but the one that keeps jumping out at me is fearless.
Yes.
Very appropriate for this conversation. And I like optimistic and bold too. So optimism is a good thing. And I think so many people think that building or remodeling is not optimistic.
No.
They must be fearless. But I anything that helps to get the process moving forward in a better way is a gift.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
So we were trying to figure out, I had to laugh because I got an email from you this morning. It said, okay, you asked me how we know each other, and I'm not sure I know. So I go back through my emails this morning, and all I can find is that I signed up for your newsletter about a year and a half ago, May of 2016. Mm-hmm. I don't know how I found you.
One of those kismet things.
A lot of friends I've made online, and then get the pleasure and the exquisite benefit of meeting them in person, which I did get to meet you in person a few weeks ago.
Oh, that was wonderful.
The International Builders Show. Mm-hmm. Not for long enough, though.
I know. I know. It was so quick. So much going on.
Well, and usually, every other year, we're up in Washington, D.C. in the summer for meetings with National Association of Home Builders. But this is our off year, so we're on the West Coast this year. So
got it.
We'll have to find another reason to get back together.
Yes, most definitely.
But I think one of the things I've really, really delighted in, and you are definitely part of that, is there's so many amazing women doing really, really amazing stuff in the home industry, be it on the building side, the design side, the IT side. And I truly just feel so much energy and power through that. And I'm just absolutely thrilled that there's so many of us connecting and coming together in ways to help each other and to help lift each other up. And that's been a huge deal.
Yeah,
I
agree.
Don't know if you feel the same thing up where you are.
I do, absolutely. It's amazing, just the energy and the shift in our industry alone. I think a lot more women are getting involved, either owning their own companies, or for us, we have a number of women project managers on staff. So, very organized, very deep. They've just got the great skill set, and they love it. And then it's around design. I remember I was at a home show one time, and somebody came by our booth talking about the renovation roadmap. And all of a sudden, her face, when she's like, oh my God, this is project management for construction, for home remodeling. I said, yeah. She goes, I'm a project manager for the government. Maybe I could bring my skills to the construction industry. Like just this light bulb in her face. Just wow, I could actually do something around design and construction. What everybody loves HGTV. So everyone loves being around this industry, and it was neat to see her say, "Oh wow, I could bring my skills and really make an impact." So I'm definitely seeing a lot of shift in the balance of power. So you should say, so we should say. Around construction, especially around design and construction.
So that's really cool though, that she saw that. Pardon me, editors. Didn't realize that my timer would actually go off.
No worries.
Okay, I'm going to come back on here. So I'll set it a different way next time. So this project or this person that came by your booth and was into project management, are you finding that a lot where people see the synergies between project management and another industry and see maybe how they can explore something that they really love with their skills? It sounds like what happened with her.
Yeah, exactly. So I saw that happen with her. We actually have a client, a past client. So we did her kitchen 7 years ago. She was pregnant with twins. And a few years ago when the kids started going into school, she reached out to us, and she was a program manager in a different field. I can't even remember what it was, but it wasn't construction. And she, wanted to talk about bringing her skill set to us. And it was just a perfect match. She's been working with us for several years. And I've also spoken at the PMI Project Management Institute. Okay. So I spoke at Georgetown at a presentation they had, and it was just a bunch of project managers that think more government or healthcare or whatever. And I think their eyes are really opening to the residential remodeling industry as an option. It's big in commercial. I think it's more accepted, but they're starting to say,
I was just going to say, yeah.
Yeah, they're realizing, wait a minute, that's what's missing from residential remodeling. And that's where I really want to make a huge impact, is bringing that professional management lens to home remodeling, not just commercial.
Yeah, because you can go get a construction management degree, and it's mainly aimed around commercial, but it's exactly that project management.
Yeah.
And I've been involved in some projects where that's definitely a piece they could use more. And I don't offer that service, but it's challenging to be involved with a project that doesn't have type project management.
Absolutely. Yep. And that's usually when things
quite where you're supposed to be when.
Exactly. And the homeowner certainly doesn't know what's going on because there's not a clear plan. I mean, that's where things really fall apart, for sure.
Crazy. Well, hey, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, I want to dig in a little bit more to what all y'all are doing with Synergy Design and Build. Why can't I get the rest of your name right? Your company name.
Synergy Design and Construction.
I keep wanting to say design and building, and I'm like, that doesn't roll off my tongue. So we'll be back in a few minutes to talk more about Synergy Design and Construction and Renovation Roadmap. Okay, editors, it's up to you what you need to clean up there.
When I was getting a little bit of there's a little bit of freezing in the Zoom thing, so I don't know. Got caught up a couple of times in there, but
yeah, hopefully we'll be okay.
Yeah,
I'm writing it down so I don't keep goofing it up. Sweet mother. Okay, how'd that feel?
That sounds great.
Okay.
Now, is this a segment, like the second segment is somebody listening, they just heard the first, so I can reference, well, like we were just talking about?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. We just take a quick break so that they can insert sponsors' thoughts and we can regroup. That's
great.
So that's all. And I will not set my timer this time. I thought I was setting the stopwatch. And I never stay on track exactly, but I like to have a rough idea so that I don't have to keep remembering what time it was.
I know. It all works.
When we go in studio, they have this big clock up on the wall. We can see.
Looming over you.
And then when we hit 10 minutes, it's blang, like flashes at you. It's like, okay, I got it. It's time. So this one, we want to talk more about what you do and how it can relate to green sustainability and the homes industry.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest thing for you, I think, Mina, is that by renovating, you're preserving a home. And that in and of in and of itself is one of the most sustainable things we can do, because we're not dumping it all in a landfill. What do you love most about what you do? And how do you want to impact your clients and your community with what you do? Okay.
Yep.
Easy enough?
Sure.
I have my settings on my phone, so it keeps going dark on me. Hey, welcome back to the Green Gab podcast, where we are gabbing with Mina Fies of Synergy Design and Build and Renovation Roadmap. I finally nailed it.
We might need to start over. You said design build.
Did I really?
Sorry, editors.
No, that's okay. It's design and construction, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote it down the other way. That's pretty bad. It's Monday. I've never recorded. Yes, I have recorded on a Monday, so I don't have that excuse.
But sounds good.
Exactly. Welcome back to the Green Gab podcast, where we are gabbing with Mina Fies of Synergy Design and Construction. Okay, we've got a running joke here because I can't get the name of the company right here. It's easier just to remember Renovation Roadmap, Mina.
Well, it is a catchy name, and that's fine.
It's the alliteration, right? I've got all the R's coming out.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I can't get your company name correct. You guys get an opportunity to do some really cool stuff. Renovations and remodeling is such a big deal. And I think so many of us watch TV and see all the renovations happening on TV, and we know they're not as easy as they make them look. But tell us a little bit more about what you guys do and how you impact your clients and the community with that work.
Yeah, so our main focus is on, I would say, multi-room renovations, additions. Sometimes, a lot of times we'll do a whole home renovation. So it's really for people that are going to be in their home 10 plus years. They know that they love the neighborhood. A good deal of our clients are on cul-de-sacs. We actually track that, and it's amazing. So it's not, the ultra wealthy or anybody that's looking to double the size or do a tear down. It's really people that love their house, love the neighborhoods, love the schools, love the community that they've raised their children in, and the house just isn't working for them anymore. So it's time to either upgrade or expand or open up some walls for the overall flow to be better for them. And we always say we don't import tubs from Italy or go anything over the top, but we really like to bring some design thoughtfulness to the project. And we are fortunate to have a great design team. We have an architect and several designers on staff, as well as our carpenters that manage the project. So it's literally why we named our company Synergy, because we believe the synergy between design and construction is where it all comes together. And our focus really has always been on how is a client going to experience the renovation. So, we can put pretty countertops and new flooring and tear down walls and do all that stuff like, most contractors can. But really looking at how does a homeowner feel when their kitchen is out of whack for 3 or 4 weeks, So what do? We create a temporary kitchen. We find another space in their home, and we bring in induction burners and induction pots and pans and, ways that they can. It's kind of like camping when you're, it's like camping in your house. So it's not sexy by any means, but you want to be able to make the kids some macaroni and cheese or make some spaghetti and not have to eat out every night. So we do little fun things like that. We also, this is a fun fact, weird fact, but the donjon. So we always bring a portable toilet to our job sites, and I was just obsessed with that's the ugliest thing you ever see, and you've got to have that in front of your house for 2 or 3 months. So I asked our team to create lattice, and we surround it with lattice. I'll send you a picture. And can I tell you that's the most important, that's the most feedback we ever get. We'll have homeowners say, oh, when you set up that lattice, we just couldn't even believe it. And our neighbors come by and they talk about it all the time. They're like, oh, you're the ones that put the lattice up. It's the funniest thing.
I love it. I love it. That is truly a woman's touch, I think.
I know. I wanted to put ivy and flowers up, but they drew the line. We're like, all right. So we came to a happy medium.
I get it. Our next door neighbors built after we did. We moved into a spec home, and then our next door neighbors built, and the porta potty was out in their front yard from my,
Uh-huh.
and I
Yeah.
can see it from my office window, and it
Yeah.
was gross.
Right.
And I totally get that. I wish I'd had you around then, because then I wouldn't have had to stare at this nasty old looking porta potty.
That's so funny. I can't even tell you the amount of, not press, but the amount of people that talk about it. It's funny. Somebody's like, you should patent that and sell them. I'm like, I'm not going to start selling surrounds for porta johns. It's not my job. I'm glad you like
The
the idea,
details
but
do
that's about
matter.
as far as we're going. I'm sorry.
Details do matter.
They do. So that's what we do every day, in a nutshell. No, it's just really about looking at that end experience for the client, and really look at how we can go beyond just a regular experience, or what people think remodeling is going to be, and actually just surprise them along the way.
So out of this company and out of your design construction company,
Mm-hmm.
Synergy,
Yes.
you birthed Renovation Roadmap.
Yes.
So how did that happen?
So it was probably about almost 3 or 4 years ago. I had this light bulb moment for myself and said, you know what? We can only do about 20 projects a year in Northern Virginia, right outside of DC. I'd have somebody say, oh, I wish you lived in California. My sister needs to do a remodel, or I wish you lived in New York. And, I would get, I spent a lot of time turning people down or not being able to help them if they were in Maryland or DC. And I realized quite frankly that my reach isn't going to get as far. Like, I really want to make a difference in this industry. I want to make a difference for people, and doing it for 20 people at a time wasn't satisfying to me. So I said, well, what can I do that would kind of take our system and share it with people? So we have quality control checklist, how to interview contractors, a sample contract, how do you make sure that what the draw schedule is going to be, how you're going to have to get paid, and how often you should be paying, and how much you should be paying your contractor. So, all this insider information that we know from our side, I said, well, why don't I just put that all in a package and provide it as a service to people, so they have access to it. So no matter where you are, who your contractor is, what type of project you have all those tools at your disposal. So it started out actually as a paper copy, and quickly I had a lot of people saying, well, this needs to be online. I said, I know, just give me a minute. So that's when last year I spent the majority of 2017 turning it into the online service. And it's even before, more than just a checklist. We have an online Facebook community where homeowners can post pictures and ask me questions, and hey, my contractor was saying XYZ, that doesn't sit right with me. What do you think I should do? So just really having people feel like they've got somebody in their corner that can help them through the process.
Some support.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I
We
didn't
don't
even
want to feel
realize.
like we're in it alone.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to talk
Yeah.
over you. But yes, not being in it alone is huge.
Mm-hmm.
It is scary stuff. It's big projects, and our house is our biggest investment we usually make in our lifetimes.
Absolutely. And not only the money, but it's a very intimate process. You have kids and dogs and animals, cats, three-legged cats. Sorry, inside joke. But there's
Try that one back in.
but no, so I'll just start over. So yeah, it can be a really intimate process. You're inviting a contractor and a number of tradespeople and people into your home for 1, 2, 3, 4 months, depending on the size of your project. And that's, where your family lives, where you have your pets and your family, your kids and everybody. You want to make sure that that you really are connected with that person that you're going to be taking care of. So that's one of the biggest things I love about my job.
Yeah, because you're kind of living with them for a while.
Oh yeah. You are in a relationship. That's what I always say. We are dating right now, making sure that we like each other, and then you're in it for the long haul.
Yeah, I remember when I was raising kids, we had a gentleman that painted for us for years. 15 years probably, and he literally saw my kids grow up.
Mm-hmm.
He'd come back for a project every couple of years, and I think he started the first one when I was pregnant with my eldest.
Yeah.
And I was very comfortable with him being in the house because we'd worked with him for so long.
Exactly.
And that is really important. And I think so much of we get so scared that if we go with a big company that it's going to be out of our budget, and we don't understand what the total package is that we get. And I'm a huge believer in you get what you pay for.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And not everybody fits for everybody. It's all about fit. So having that process that you provide to help people figure out what their fit is important. And I'm excited that there's this resource out there.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And you really hit on a very key point, which is a piece of the roadmap, which is this whole section on ways to renovate. It's there's many ways to renovate, everything from, having, handyman come in, and if it's a smaller project or kind of and I don't mean this derogatory, but we have a saying that a chuck in the truck, where it's a one-man band who owns and he could be a great craftsman, and he does a little bit of plumbing, a little bit of electrical, and
Yep.
he might not pull a permit or whatever, but maybe your project's small enough that it doesn't need that, and
Right.
that's that trusted resource. But when it comes down to breaking down walls or turning into a project where somebody's going to be in your home for several weeks on end, you want to make sure that that professional project management is behind everything. So there's and people always wonder, well, should I do design build or should I do design bid, where you hire the designer and then bid it out to different contractors? And everything has its own every approach has its own pros and cons. So I have a whole worksheet called the Ways to Renovate that really spells out where are those plus and minuses, so that a homeowner can choose that right fit. Because you're right, not everybody's in alignment. And sometimes we'll reach out to a contractor if we have a particular size project, and then find out, well, that's not their wheelhouse. Usually they work on much smaller projects, and now they're really stretched to try to fit you in, but yet you didn't ask the right questions to kind of find that out, and then the contractor might be over their head. Or vice versa, they do really big projects, and they want to help you, so they do a small project, and then you're kind of like the stepchild. So yeah.
That's true with all work, but I know you're right. It's so intimate when someone's working on your home,
Mm-hmm.
that choosing that more carefully, even if it does take a little bit more time, I definitely think time well spent.
Yes. Yes. I think that, and that's one of the biggest mistakes I think people have, is people get so fed up with their homes. They've been waiting for so long to finally do it. Then they start reaching out and they want it done. Like they want to start tomorrow. And
Yeah.
then they'll call and be like, can you start, in 2 months? And between getting the design done and the construction, it's like, no, that's really rushing it. And we have other people that reached out, there's a pipeline. And usually if you can reach a contractor that's ready to go the next day, that might not be the best sign. So it's
Yeah.
taking that patience, having that patience to really to wait just a little bit longer for that professional that you need.
So I want to take a quick break here, but I want to leave a thought for you that we can come back to, and that's planning the work and working the plan. So when we come back, we'll pick up there.
Love it.
Awesome stuff. I can talk to you
Thank
all
you.
day.
This is great.
Oh,
I love it. You're so easy to be
doing this, right? So when we come back on this section, I really want to go into a little bit more of the whole idea of planning the work and working the plan, because I think that's key with what you do. It's my impression, but hey, I'll go for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we've talked a lot about advice. But if there's other advice you have, and I want to make sure you have time to direct people to your resources, and we'll make sure we include all those links in our podcast show notes. So we'll have one to the innovation roadmap, one to your company, to the company that I can't pronounce, Synergy Design and Construction.
There you go.
I have a friend whose company is Design Build, so I think it keeps, and that's my excuse, I'm sticking to it. But is there anything else you want to make sure you bring up in the last segment?
I just want to make sure that we tie in sustainability, just to make sure that I feel like I haven't talked a lot about that. And I just want to make sure it ties into your messaging.
Okay.
I think it's very important
to
that. So I just want to weave that in a little bit. And I loved what you said earlier, which is preserving a home is the first thing you can do in sustainability.
Okay. Well, we'll see how well I can segue this all in. back on the green gab, and we're still gabbing with Mina Fies of Renovation Roadmap and Synergy Design and Construction. Got it. We keep laughing on the off times because I just keep struggling with that, but I think it's because I have a friend whose business is design and build, and this one's design and constructions. I'm going with that. I don't have a better reason.
It works for me. We've got it.
There you go. Well, before we broke, we were talking a little bit about the different ways to approach a renovation or a remodel. And one of the concepts that we kind of touched on is this whole idea of planning the work and then working the plan, which I'm a big advocate of, and I keep working to do it better. I think we all do. But I know in the building world where so many things are contingent upon each other and schedules and different tradespeople that need to come in and get different things done, it's super critical to your work being done correctly and being done profitably, I'm guessing.
Yes, absolutely. Well, and you use the right word in critical, because as we hired project managers, they talk about critical path all the time.
Wow.
And what is that critical path? And that's really what we try to create with the renovation roadmap. And it all starts from, like you said, the planning stage is just absolutely key, and taking your time in it. And even before planning of say you're doing a kitchen, before you're like worried about what kind of sink and faucet and all you want, I really like the client to think about what is their why behind the renovation.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Take that moment to really envision, what is this space going to do for your family? How do you want it to make you feel? How do you want it to function? Not just focus on, there's not enough counter space and, I need some more drawers. There's just so much more to it. Do you want more people to be able to sit in the kitchen? Do you need seating at the island because of that? Or is that actually going to take away from your breakfast nook where you really like to have people over? Anyway, I could get into all the details, but you get the point.
That's such a perfect example. And I actually teach a workshop called Dreaming Your Green Home. That is exactly that. And we've only done it a couple of times, but the first time we did it, I had a couple of the participants in the workshop walk up to me afterwards, and they said, we've never thought of our homes that way. We've always just thought of them as a place to shelter us and our stuff, and never really identified with how we want our home to feel and what we want it to do and how we want it to be for our families and our visitors and, the people that are in our homes. Mm-hmm. And that was exactly what I was hoping they would get. And as you know, I'm in the green space, but why that's important is because if you align your priorities, then you know what benefits are important to you, and then you can align it with the features in your home. So it's, that stepping down the line process, which is exactly what Renovation Roadmap helps you do. Mm-hmm. And this whole idea you were saying, tying this all into sustainability, and I think that's exactly how you do that.
Yes. Absolutely. I mean, that's what I love about everything that you do, Marla, is the sustainability is such a key piece to this. It's not just aligning our environments that are outside of our homes, but it's also inside, and that the word environment can be, used in so many ways. So there's obviously sustainability and taking care of our environment. Well, that a lot of times people think, oh, well, that's outside and saving the earth and the water and being good to ourselves in that way. But our environments inside our home and our offices, quite frankly, are critical to us living the healthy, happy, and joyful and productive lives that we want to. Making sure that we're having, that we're breathing clean air when we go into our home, and all those pieces of sustainability that are so important. In addition to just how do we feel in the space, and it's just it's all so connected. It's all so very connected, for sure.
Right. Well, and if you feel good in a space, happiness relates to our health.
Absolutely.
Period.
100%.
And, something as simple as daylight. So here's an easy one I talk to a lot of people about. Windows in your home. And if you're in an existing home and you're not remodeling, you can do things with your windows. And it doesn't have to cost you an arm and a leg. You can go to a big box store and buy great blackout drapes so that your room is very dark at night so you can sleep well, which sleep is a very important environmental quality to health. But on the other hand, you can have maybe a sheer or I had light filtering blinds at my last house, which were wonderful because they let the light in, but they didn't let the glare in, and they kept a lot of the heat out in the hot summer sun. So there's easy answers to this that come before remodeling or a new home. And then when you get to remodeling in a new home, you can be more intentional about that. Well, where do I really need light? Do I want a reading nook? Do I want a window there so I don't have to turn a light on? But if you don't understand what you want your home to do for you, you never get to that conversation.
Exactly, which full circle to exactly what you're talking about is that critical path and that planning, having your plan and then working that plan and starting with the why and then get into the how and the who and get into the whole roadmap of the process, but really starting with that deeper connection to what you're looking to accomplish. It's almost like a vision board. What's that vision that you have for your home so that you can actually go towards that vision. And we're so good in our businesses and our companies and everything of creating goals and structures, but when it comes to our environment, a lot of times we just think, oh, it is what it is, and we kind of take a back seat to really creating the future and the environment that we want.
Will you be proud of me then? Because I spent a good chunk of yesterday rearranging the furniture in my home so it would better serve us.
I love it.
I have a friend here that's really good at seeing things, and she'll help me move stuff, and nothing scares her. So it was great. We just kept moving things back and forth till we got it where it worked.
That's really great.
I need to let it sit for a few days and then come back and rearrange the artwork and all that good stuff.
But it feels good just to shift things up. There's a lot that it does. I even spoke in Copenhagen last year about the neuroscience between how spaces affect our psyche. Like what happens. They've done studies on what happens in our brain when we have a high ceiling versus a low ceiling. And there's not one good or bad, but they all have different effects on us. And it's the same way when we walk into our home and a furniture is arranged a particular way. There's a flow and there's a connection between the things in our home and how we feel.
Yep.
For sure.
And sometimes you don't know, or at least I don't, what it is that I want, but I know what I don't want.
Yes.
So how do you help people like that, like me?
Yeah. So one of the things that we always say when we work with our clients is we want to give you something to say no to. So it doesn't mean we're going to give you a purposely bad design, but we're going to show you enough options so at the end you don't ever say, you know what, I wish I would have thought of that. So you might like a little bit of A, a little bit of B, and a little bit of C. You might not like all those elements, but if you combine the pieces that you really resonate with, and a lot of times when people look at that, they're like, oh, well, I don't want that. And I don't want that part of that. So it's a lot of times it's easier just out of process of elimination of what we don't want that we can really find our way to what we do want. It's an interesting way to come at it versus here's a design or having that ego where it's like, this is what you should do with your space. It's really kind of pulling those pieces of what you do like and don't like out of each homeowner. So
I love there's a lot of conversation and articles and things being written right now about how baby boomers are actually a huge part of green homes. But I love the rationale for it. And it's because green homes tend to be more durable, easier to maintain, easier to keep, more predictable utility bills, which are all things baby boomers are wanting as they move into their active adult lifestyles. And they don't want to worry about their house all the time. And this one got me, I love this. And they have experience living in homes. So they know what doesn't work.
Right. Well, and what I love about baby boomers too, and more than just baby boomers, but they really get that, first thing to do is really look at it's really sustainable when you remodel a home versus going and buying the next house, the new builder just put on the lot, or tearing something down and rebuilding it when it's so easy to restore some of that history, keep that energy of what that home had, and then expand and improve upon it. There's just, talk about sustainability. Preserving a home and remodeling your home is the best thing that you can do, for sure.
And that's, that was really what I focused on in my book was how can you just make different choices, make a choice that uplifts that particular area. So if you're replacing a plumbing fixture, what can you do that's going to make that plumbing fixture easier to take care of, use less water, and still feel great? And I have to laugh because my sister is convinced that I'm not going to find a water efficient shower that she'll like. I keep saying, like, challenge on, my dear, challenge on.
I love it.
I have a couple of favorites out there. But there's so many things that I don't think people think about. They don't know what they don't know. And so just re-examining the choices that you do have is a great place to start. And I know you walk people through that when you're working with them as clients. And I've talked to so many home professionals that is truly what they do. The thing I've noticed with you that I don't see with a lot of people yet is that you're proactive. And some people wait to be asked, and others will say, let me suggest a couple of things that might help you get to your lifestyle a little easier.
Yeah.
And I like that about the people that are doing it. I think there's just too many of us that just don't know it yet.
Yeah, no, I think it's very important to help guide people. And that's the whole premise behind the renovation roadmap. And that's guiding through decisions, guiding through helping them uncover what's most important to them and their family. And, and to sit back and think that a homeowner is going to be able to kind of come up with it on their own. It's like a blank slate. Sometimes you need that painter, you need some paint on the board to start getting some ideas flowing. And we just kind of go arm in arm and with them through that process. So yeah, it's absolutely what I love to do every day at Synergy, but I'm really thrilled to be able to do with the roadmap and help so many more people find their why and find their way through the process and actually have fun. People watch HGTV and all these shows so much, and it looks like a lot of fun on TV. Well, some of them look really scary, depending on the show you're watching. But you should really have fun through the process. When we talk about energy, you don't want at the end to say, okay, well, I got it done, but it was hell getting through it. You want to have a good memory of the remodeling process too. And it doesn't have to be painful. It certainly doesn't have to be.
Well, I was going to ask you for your advice, but I think you just gave it. You saved me that. So how do people find you and find Renovation Roadmap?
Okay, well, we made it nice and easy. So it's renovationroadmap.com. Myself, if you are in the DC area or just want to reach out to me for any reason, I am at renovatehappy.com. That's actually my email, Mina, Mina, at renovatehappy.com. And if you want to give us a call, it's 703-766-6333.
And that will be on the podcast notes because that was a lot of numbers to remember.
That's fine. I thought so. It just said it said phone number, so that's why.
That's great. We'll put it on the podcast notes.
Okay.
And I urge you, check out, to our listeners, check out Renovation Roadmap, because if you are thinking of a remodel or a renovation, this is a great tool to help you wrap your arms around the project and to put some of the project management capability into it in a way that's going to serve you and serve your overall project and really help you achieve what you set out to achieve. And I think that's the number one thing. I talk to so many people that, like you said, they're just so relieved to get through the process and still feel that there were so many things they wish they had thought of that they didn't. And I think what you've developed really is a great tool to help people get what they want. And who doesn't want to get what they want?
Well, thank you.
Exactly.
Everybody, we want what we want. We want to be happy. So
we want. You can't always have it right now, but you can want it. So
yes.
Well, I can't tell you how much I thank you for coming on the Green Gab podcast today and gabbing with me. And I'm just super excited to see where this goes. I really look forward to seeing how this rolls out over the next year.
Well, thank you so much, Marla. It was really a pleasure, and I'm just honored to be on your show and just really appreciate all that you're doing for the environment, sustainability, and just really helping a lot of contractors and homeowners really understand the deeper connection that we have to our spaces. So thank you for all the work that you do.
Well, thank you. And we are signing off at the Green Gab today. And remember, you can find us on iTunes or on the Green Home Coach website, or wherever you find your podcast. Please do leave us a review if you are on iTunes. We welcome your support, and that's one way to do it. Have an awesome day.